Hello, welcome to the program. It's the Economy Today, where we bring you news, reviews, previews, and interviews, all that have to do with the economy of the land and beyond. Thank you so much for keeping us company, and I always want to say that I want to believe that the time you spend with us is going to be something meaningful. So do please stay with us and make sure that this your apt investment will yield dividend. Okechukwu Onubogu here, and I have a guest today, but before I bring on my guest, we first of all look at the foreign exchange market and see what we have, and then the oil price before we return, take some news, and then the discussion itself flows. Let's get to the top gainers. Ikeja Hotel happens to be the one that is at the topmost with a 7.56%, and Lancashire is also the second with 5.90%. We'll also take KAFTAN. KAFTAN also has gained 1.47 and 5.00% is what they have, while Sovereigns has a 4.17% increase. Cornwall PLC also has a 2.96% increase. That is 1.39 kobo gain. Just as I mentioned, these gains are of great importance because even a kobo means a lot in the stock exchange in the gain. Now let's look at the top losers, because definitely some lost. We could refer to them as bottom losers or top losers. Now UPL lost 2.27 kobo, and that is talking about some percentage, that is 9.92. John Holt also had a loss of 2.83 kobo, which is 9.87%. Allmartech lost 0.67 naira, that is 67 kobo, and that is 9.46%, while Deep Cap lost 51 kobo, and that is talking about some percentage, that is 8.93%. The greatest of them, the one that lost 53 kobo, is the one that is the least of them all, but the highest losers are the UPL. But then that is NSL Tech. They lost 53 kobo. That is 7.02% in the percentage ranking or rating of the loss. That is for bottom losers. We also would want to look at the oil market and see what is going on right now. And the WTI crude is at 77.39 kobos, that dollars rather, $77, and Brent crude is for $81, 81.40 cents, and the natural gas has $84 dollars. And so the rise in the price is showing, because it has risen just slightly beyond what we had on Monday. So that shows that better things are still happening in the oil industry. It's good that Brent crude is among those who are rising, because that concerns us a whole lot. Well, that's it for now, talking about the oil and the stock exchange. But then I have the news bits that I always have on this particular program. So let's just take a bit of the news bit, beginning with the first one, and that has to do with I think it's the Senate. Let's look at that and find out what they have for us. The Nigerian Senate passed just yesterday has passed the amendment bill of the 2023 Finance Act and increased the windfall levy on banks' foreign exchange revaluation gains from 50% as proposed by the President to 70%. The chairman of the Senate Committee on Finance, Senator Sani Musa, read the report of the Committee on Finance before it was finally passed. Furthermore, the Senate also amended the commencement date of the amended Act from 1st January 2023 to the commencement of the new foreign exchange policy after Senator Aminu Waziri Tambuwal raised objections to the retroactive nature of the amendment. We'll also talk about the other story now, which is the monetary policy. The Monetary Policy Committee, that's the MPC of the Central Bank of Nigeria, they resolved to raise the monetary policy rate, MPR, the monetary policy rate, the benchmark interest rate by 50 basic points to 26.75% from 26.25%. And so that was 50 basic points that was added to the original MPC. The committee also adjusted the asymmetric corridor around the MPR to plus 500 to minus 100 from plus 100 to minus, that is 300. That's talking about the maximum of 100 and minimum of 300. Same was done in the current one, in the basic points. It however retained the cash reserve ratio, that is the CRR, of deposit money banks at 45% and merchant banks at 14%, as well as retain the liquidity ratio at 30%. This is the fourth time in a row that the central bank had raised interest since February. Addressing journalists at the end of the two-day meeting of the MPC in Abuja, CBN Governor Olayemi Cardoso said the committee was mindful of the effect of rising prices on households and businesses and expressed its resolve to take necessary measures to bring inflation under control. The committee further re-emphasized its commitment to CBN's price stability mandate, expressing optimism that despite the June 2024 uptick in headline inflation, prices are expected to moderate in the near term. This came as the Director General, Nigeria Employers Consultative Assembly, NECA, Mr. Adewale Smart Oyerinde, said that the hike in NPR was unlikely to douse inflation amid the Naira's continued depreciation at the FX market. The next story we have is that the Senate and the House of Representatives, they have on Tuesday speedily passed the National Minimum Wage Act 2019 amended bill. The bill, which scaled second and third reading at the legislative chambers, at both legislative chambers in the National Assembly, just minutes after it was transmitted by President Bola Tinubu, was instantly passed separately by the red chambers and the green chambers. In a unanimous vote after a close consideration in the Committee of the Whole, the National Minimum Wage Bill scaled third reading and was passed at the Senate. The House also passed the bill immediately, just like the Senate did. President Tinubu is expected to sign the bill into law. Earlier, the President transmitted the National Minimum Wage Bill to the National Assembly for consideration and passage. The President separately wrote the Senate and the House of Representatives requesting expeditious consideration of a bill for an act to amend the National Minimum Wage Act 2019 to increase the national minimum wage from 30,000 to 70,000 naira. The President also asked the lawmakers to reduce the time for periodic review of the national minimum wage from 5 years to 3 years and related matters. of course, that was what he also discussed with them. And so the leadership organized labor met. That meeting, it was just announced, first of all, that it was 70,000 naira minimum wage. But that wasn't all, because it was also announced that there will be a periodic review of that national minimum wage. That is what happened in that matter. And that's why he has also asked the House to the National Assembly rather, to make it work, so that it wouldn't be that when it comes next time, it will be another trouble altogether. Well, that is it. That's what we have seen for, as far as, our news is concerned. And it's a good idea, because if not, in the next 3 years, it will still be another problem. But if it's in the bill, then it happens that it will take a smooth sail, that the moment they want to talk about another review, it won't be looked at as something that is strange or foreign. And it's at this point that I want to bring in my guest. I'm talking about Richard Oriri. Richard, it's a pleasure having you on the program today.
It's my pleasure. Good morning.
You are a public affairs analyst, so this is an affair that has to do with the public, and you need to talk about it. Thank God you have your journalistic prowess in you, so you can help us perfect it.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome again.
Thank you.
So you see, as I was mentioning, the last thing is that it will be reviewed after 3 years, the minimum wage. It's not like before that it was supposed to be reviewed after 5 years. But in some cases, they won't even review at all. But here, the organized labor, stood to ensure that the time for review will be reduced, so that not when you're giving them 70,000, it will be for life, But then it will be that after 3 years, it will be reviewed, whether it will be increased, retained, or if things get so better, it could be reduced. What do you think about that?
Thank you very much.
Yes,
I listened to your analysis of what happened in the past 24 hours in Nigeria. The entire economy of the country now is not smiling, and Nigerians are not smiling too.
Yes.
The recent passage of the minimum wage bill by the president was so speedy. And I see that the president means business in one way, and the reason I said he means business in one way is that he did everything to see that the National Assembly, they are not antagonistic to his policies, and anything presidential bill that is sent to the National Assembly, they give him speedy response.
Yes.
But this minimum wage that has been endorsed by the National Assembly and assented to by the president possibly now is in one way a problem. The worsening, we are crying for increase in food price in the country. You see, from 2023 till June 2024 now, food inflation has risen to about 40.66%.
Okay.
And as against what we had in 2023,
yes,
was about 20-something percent. So and now the monetary policy of CBN that is just read out now. Yesterday, the monetary policy rate was increased to 26.75.
Yes.
26.75. That will worsen the increase in the food prices in the country. And if you look at in 1975, when some of us were not born, that Doji award of 18. If you look at, because if you are taking any decision, any public policy decision, you have to look at history first before you know what you are doing.
Yes.
And if you check history from 1975 to 75 to 76 or so, you see that the moment that Doji award was approved, there was so much increase in food prices and too many things in Nigeria. And from that time, they have not been able to bring increase in inflation down in the country. And now, the same thing, 70,000 naira, 30,000, when it was 30,000 naira minimum wage. Even when the labor were agitating for about 500 or something thousand naira, I was of the opinion that There is no how we can cope with that. Even 250,000 naira was so much, and now 70,000. When it was even 30,000 naira, so there are some private sectors that used to pay their workers even 15,000 because they are out for business. And Nigeria that we see today is purely a capitalist state. And now that wages of workers have been increased, majority of market women, they are not looking at it from the perspective of a private sector. They are looking at it from the perspective of government officials, government workers. And the private sector, we can see, it will affect so many things. It will affect so many things. And food prices of food will increase, will keep increasing in the country, and that will be a very terrible issue that all of us we are going to face in the nearest future.
I need to say something about this. I agree with you, sir, but I want to say the price of food or prices of food items, it had continued to increase all the while before the talk for this thing came on. And now it's true that it has come on and they have started increasing them more. I mean, they increase the percentage at which the prices increase. Inflation
that we are experiencing today in Nigeria started early 2022. That was when the cause of it majorly was the Russian war in Ukraine,
against Ukraine,
and again followed by the fuel subsidy that was removed, worsened the whole situation. And before fuel subsidy was removed, we have been having serious insecurity in the country that have not made farmers to even access their farms. And that has really pushed Nigerians to the wall. When farmers cannot go to the farm, they will not have enough to feed the nation. And that was what actually happened. You can look at it from Benue State. Benue State in Nigeria, they are the food basket of the nation. And over the years, from 2020, even before President Buhari came in, the insecurity in Benue State has been so terrible. And of recent, you look at it from Niger State. Niger State, they are the second food basket of this country. And there's so much insecurity in Niger State. And this fuel subsidy again that came up, coupled with tax increase in the country. So, like 4 or 5 days ago, was it on Monday or Tuesday? Before leaving my house, I wanted getting some bread for my children because they like bread so much. And now that they are on holiday, I went to about 4 different supermarkets to get bread. I couldn't get bread. Why? Because the material for producing bread, they are not available. Even in the market now, you hardly see ordinary salmon in the market to get. What you see now is a Honeywell, something like that. So the means of getting these things to the market, they are not available. They are not there. And the population of Nigerians is struggling to get these things. They are much. The moment supply is low and demand is high, definitely price will go up. And that is what we are experiencing in the country. So it's a big problem, but by the grace of God, we will see how the government will handle it, and even couple with our own personal.
In actual fact, talking about this demand and supply, when the price is low, the demand will come down. These days, demand is no longer driven by desire. Demand is now driven by what you can lay your hands upon. If it were before, when everything was available, demand was driven by desire. The demand for food, even if there's an adjustment in the demand for other items in the market, demand for food will hardly decline. Yes, it remains constant.
It remains constant. So that is why you see, where we have this inflation majorly is the food, food session.
Items,
like fuel now is not if you don't have means of buying fuel, the best thing you do is to park your car.
So there's an option.
And that's why in Abuja here now, if you go to majority of these bus stops, majority of the bus stops, you see millions of Nigerians standing waiting for buses to enter, and they don't have, even the buses are not available in Abuja now. So
and the few that you find,
you must be very careful. You must be very careful not to even enter one chance event in the town.
Because at a time like this, it's also important. And these days, you see that people haggle and haggle when it comes to talking about the price, the amount to pay, transport fares, because it's no longer what it used to be.
Not at all.
This morning I was in one, and somebody paid like a short distance. Someone paid 100 naira. Another person that came in didn't price at all, and the fellow was sold 200 naira. And when she got to the point where she will alight, she said, "Please, it is 150 I have." The man collected that from her, and we just went on. So you see, it's no longer a norm. Anything can happen at any point in time.
That's just it.
And it's as a result of this problem of financial inability to handle matters in the country. Well, thank you so much. We have just discussed the impact, really, and we'll still continue with the impact. Something you stressed, which I need to also bring forth, we will talk about them more, is, you see, it is a silent part of the impact. And that silent part of the impact is this insecurity. You know, minimum wage, its impact on workers and traders, but then the traders themselves that are supposed to be the ones that will get into the hinterlands to get the products and bring out to others to eat, find it difficult to get it because of the fact that they're even afraid for their lives because of insecurity. What do we do concerning that side? Because that's the silent part of this impact of the new minimum wage, because now that we're even talking about this thing, a lot more are saying, they are getting big money. We'll look for them the more to get them so that they'll be able to pay.
The problem we are having in Nigeria is that the security issue in the country is to me, is becoming a norm. It's becoming a culture in the country, because most people don't even see crime to be anything again, to be something that is against national interest, to be something that is against our cultural value in the country, because they are being compressed, being choked. Even a two-legged bulldog, if you ever push two-legged bulldog to the wall, it will develop teeth by force. Yes. So what is going on in the country is, look at what is happening to Dangote refinery. Now, Dangote is threatening to sell out the refinery and go, and because of some cabals that are fighting him not to operate, denting the image of the organization, saying that they are bringing out a fuel that are substandard to consumers, which is not true. Which is not true. And that is really going deep into our economy, because now FDI, foreign direct investors, foreign direct investment will be hard. The ones that were here before, they are going out, they are leaving. And those ones who have, like a few months ago, the president traveled out of this country to different countries of the world, trying to woo investors into the country. And when they are listening to our media and seeing what is happening within if we cannot even encourage our local investors who are here producing to help us boost the economy, help us grow our GDP, and we are fighting them using political arrangement to fighting them, is a problem. Because if once we have foreign direct investment in the country, there will be employment.
Yes.
Now there's no, if they are packing and the local citizens within us here who have the capacity to invest in the economy and employ people, they are not encouraging them. And if they are folding their hands or going to, like now, Dangote, Gabon, they have the Gabon president have come to plead with him to come to his country and invest in their economy. If such people are leaving the country, where are we going? And the insecurity you are talking about now, tax is going up. Tax has gone up. This monetary policy rate, that is a tax rate.
Yes.
CBN, they have increased it from to 26.75%. Okay, how well Even those ones who don't have job now, some of them who have 1 or 2 ideas from school that will run to the bank to borrow money and set up small business. They cannot go because the interest rate is high. And in such a situation, they can't fold their hands. They will definitely look for 1 or 2 things to do that they will feed themselves. And that is why you see the crime rate is increasing every day. The crime rate is increasing every day. And nobody even take it to be something that is against our culture again in Nigeria. It's terrible. Government policy that are not stable, that are not consistent. Tomorrow they say they are increasing interest rate in CBN is increasing. Now, from what the CBN governor is saying, he's trying to limit the cash, the circulation of funds in the economy, and there's not much money in circulation.
So
Nigeria, we are not seeing no much money in circulation, and as you are trying to see how you will curb too much money in circulation, and then you are on the other hand you are increasing inflation. I can take it completely that is because the federal government has accepted to increase minimum wage to 70,000 naira. But they are using another means to take it back again from the people and then augment what they have. So I think that is the angle we have looked at it from, because you cannot just use one hand to give something to the masses and use another hand and take it again. So as the interest rate has increased, the same way, if you go to the market, price of food will go up. Like last year, 2023, as at June, July last year, 2023, you can, with 5,000 naira, you can get about 12 tubers of yam. But today in Nigeria, in July now, you with 5,000 naira, you barely have even 2 tubers of yam.
If it's up to 2.
You understand? So it's a problem. And how many people can afford it?
In actual fact, even these 5,000 you're talking about, it depends on the size. Because you could even get 1 tuber of yam.
For 5,000?
Yes. It depends on the size. Because that particular size that you got 12 of last year with 5,000, that one, you may not get even 2 of it.
One basin of gari before, in my village, was 350 naira as at last year. But now it's 13,500 naira.
Oh God.
I traveled, I was in the village last weekend. Even granite, milk cup of granite, before in my village was 10 naira. Today, without 200 naira, you can't get 1 cup of granite. It's a problem. It's not just happening in the city. It's happening down to the village where we even have this foodstuff directly from the producers. It's a very, now, if producers who go to their farm, bring out their farm produce, and they are selling at the same rate that they are selling in Abuja here, and people in Abuja here have to travel all the way from Abuja to the hinterland to get those food items. Yes. And when they bring it here, there's no how. Definitely the price will go up. Tomatoes now, you hardly get tomato. Even
we're discussing tomato again these days. When they are now telling us alternatives that we're going to use, it's because that it's difficult to find it. You know, it's not like what you said about this groundnut thing. Even this morning, I priced it while I was coming, because I normally check these things when I come into the studio so as to have more facts even concerning them. The groundnut, the boiled groundnut that we used to buy 3 cups for 50 naira, right now, this morning, I was told that 1 cup of it, 1 milk cup, is 200 naira. I said, why did they have to go so high? Then the lady said, well, you can have 2 cups for 300 naira, but if you're buying 1 cup, it's 200 naira. So I wonder, this is what we used to buy for 3 cups for 50 naira. Everything, the price of all these seems to have gone so high, and we're talking about this minimum wage that they have not collected. I mean, the civil servants have not collected, workers have not collected. We are waiting, because definitely by the time it gets into their hands, all we have discussed,
more will happen.
We'll talk more about that, but let's just observe this break. We'll return and continue from that side when the money comes into their hands. Thank you so much for still being there for us, and thanks to my people here working with us in the studio, ensuring that the best comes your way. I still have my guest Richard Oriri here with me. And Richard, I said something that before we just went on the break, and I said that we'll return with it. As it is like this, what would it turn out to be when this money eventually comes into the hand of the workers? I'm looking at it. I mean, what do you think? Don't you think the graph will go up beyond the ordinary again from here that it is right now?
By the grace of God, because whatever we say in this country now, we must put God first. Because even before you sleep, you have to pray to see tomorrow.
Yes.
Majority. This morning, I received call from the village again that somebody again died this morning, and I told the person that most death that we record now is not as a result of sickness. It's just thinking, frustration. That is killing people in the country. And since I grew up, I've never seen this kind of a death before in my life. Too many people died this year. And not just, somebody you spoke to yesterday, the following day you receive another call that is late. It's frustration. So I pray that government, and from what I am seeing, if the money gets to the hand of these workers, the problem here is that these private sectors, like now, minimum wage is 70,000. You in your house, if you have domestic workers, it means you must pay them. Even if you have personal driver, you have to pay nothing less than the 70,000 naira. How many of these private sectors can afford to pay? And what we will see at the end is laying off of workers. If you have 8 employees under you before, now you can squeeze to manage 3 and lay off 5. And where are those ones going to?
To the
unemployment market, which is very bad. And foreign investors, they are not coming because the government policies, the environment is not conducive to accommodate them. The environment is not conducive. And but from what is happening, like yesterday, I read on the pages of around towards evening how the president signed this Northeast Development Commission and Southeast Development Commission bill into law. If the 6th geopolitical zone, like from what is happening now, before where we saw that happening was in NDDC, Niger Delta Development Commission. Then after Niger Delta, Northeast Development Commission, meaning remaining 4. And out of these 4, Northwest and Southeast has been assented into law. And again, North Central Development Commission is underway. Is going through a process in the National Assembly. If that is equally assented to law, it means there will be possibly job opportunities for Nigerians. Now, almost every person will have to go to your region to get employment and then go to the grassroots and give development. And again, this local government autonomy that was granted by the president, granted.
Just hold it at that, because I want to say something about the previous one before we lose it. The development commissions you're talking about, the South that has the NDDC already has already brought up their own for them to also have the South Development Commission.
It was turned down.
It has been turned down. But I don't think that we've had the
NDDC can serve that purpose.
I don't think we've had the last of
NDDC can serve that purpose.
And the Southwest will soon get up.
The Southwest had been assented to law yesterday. Southwest and Southeast have been assented into law. The remaining North Central, I think it's remaining North Central now, because Northwest have their own already. It's remaining North Central now. Once this is done, I think almost every person will have job. There will be job opportunity. And once the local government autonomy is fully granted, because as it is now, the autonomy has been granted, but money has not been separated between the state and the local government. They are still sending, like June allocation was still sent to the states without separating the local government fund from it, which is abuse of the law. So if this autonomy is fully granted by way of allowing federal INEC to conducting elections to local government.
No, I think that one must happen because of the fact that there is need to get their own banks that they will pay into and all that. That process may not be what.
There is no local government in Nigeria that doesn't have account.
Yes,
I have served as local government secretary before. Okay. So there's no local government that doesn't have account. Every local government has account. Those
logistics could be what would have led to what you just mentioned, but I believe it will not happen like that again.
By the grace of God.
In the new months. Yes. So, sorry, and then we'll still continue with it. Well, the local government, as you said, opportunities for them to employ workers, both in these DDCs and in the local government, abound right now. That is when they start doing the right thing. And the minimum wage needs to be talked about for both the states and local governments.
Yes.
Because I know some governors are still have still not made their stance known concerning what it will be.
They have no option.
I remember that it was like that some time ago.
They have no option.
Then Chris Ngige was the governor of Anambra State then, and I was working in the Anambra Broadcasting Service. Now, you see, at a stage when it was brought up, when the Labour went to meet him and talk, he said, your money, Ngige, said that your money is your right. Nobody should disturb you from having your money. And I must tell you, that great man made sure that it happened that way. Because if I was under him, Chris Ngige, that workers in Anambra State were paid on the 24th, highest 26th of the month, they had got their salaries. And it was like that all through until he left. Though I thank God that Peter Obi came in and continued from where he stopped.
What is happening now? What is happening now? I can say I am happy with what is happening now in this government. When President Buhari came on board in 2015, all through the 4 years of his first tenure, he was serving loggerhead with the National Assembly.
Yes.
The first 4 years of President Muhammadu Buhari was war.
Yes.
Was war within the National Assembly. But this current administration was able to hold grip of the National Assembly. Any bill sent, any executive bill sent to the National Assembly, they'll give it speedy process, and everything will be passed. Yes. So now, I can say there is nothing that the president wants to do for Nigerians that he will not do it. Like this local government autonomy now. If local government, there is no both local government and state government. They have no option. No, the local government law and the state law, they are still under the federal law. And now Supreme Court has given this order that this is the amount, the minimum amount anybody can pay any worker in Nigeria, even foreign investors. But in the other way, most of this foreign direct investment that comes to countries like Nigeria and some other global south countries of this underdeveloped world, what they consider first before they come into your country is cheap labor.
Yes.
Now there's hike in the labor price in Nigeria. I think that one is another bottleneck on our side. Possibly those who have interest of coming before may withdraw as a result of this, but they have to look at it. They have to look into it critically, that the condition of Nigeria now demand for this increase in our wages. So and local government, if you go to China, if you go to India, the policy of government is directly to the local communities. Chinese, they don't do anything outside peasantry. And the local government is the government that is directly to these people. From there, they can channel policies towards agriculture, channel policies towards community health centers, channel policies towards water provision, channel policies towards rural road construction that will enable these farmers to bring in their food products from farm to at least the urban center. Yes, but it is now in our almost all the local, we have 774 local government in Nigeria today. If you visit, maybe out of these 774, visit at least 30, you will see that no local community in Nigeria have roads.
That's the problem.
Because local government, they are not performing their function as a result of this joint account issue.
I believe that right now that there is a separation of accounts.
Until federal high conduct election into local government, there is no how this separation of funds, the autonomy will be full. It can't be full, because if you still allow state governors to conduct elections into local government, they will still bring in their stooge.
Yes, stooges.
They'll bring in their stooge. Let's say Benue State, if you allow state government to conduct election, they call it BSEC, Benue State Independent Electoral Commission. Who will be, the commissioner will be appointed by the governor.
Yes.
And every other person working in that commission, there will be governors appointees, and those are the people that will conduct this election, and they will know the people that they will select to be chairmen and councillors of various local governments, which invariably will allow them, will give them the opportunity to still take back the. They will just be like a department under the government, under the governor.
What about the local governments?
That is what I am saying. The local government, if you allow state governors to conduct election, they will bring in their stooges as chairman, as councillors,
then the local government chairman will also take care of the councillors.
The local government chairman and councillors will be like stooge under the governors.
Okay, that's why
we will still not have total autonomy, and we will still not have the same development that we are crying for in the local communities.
Okay, I get it.
So in this way, what we want, the whole Nigerians want President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to do, what he has done by granting local government autonomy now, it shows clearly that he is not an enemy of this country.
No, he's doing well. Anyway, and again, the creation of these regional commissions, the creation of these regional commissions, those people, the people that will manage those commissions will come from those regions, and they know their problems. If the governors, the central government set aside fund for you to tackle problems that face your people, that confront your people, and you at the end go back to eat the money, then the people will stone you. They will stone you. If local government chairmen and councillors have access to the fund coming to the local communities directly, and those people who are managing this fund are elected by the people in the like in 1998, when General Abdulsalami Abubakar, the former military head of state of this country, conducted election to all the 774 local government and the 36 states government in Nigeria. We saw how election was so transparent and fair under the military. In my community, PDP won the councillor. We have 10 political wards in my local government. And out of these 10, different political party won councillorship. And another political party outside PDP won the local government chairman, Chief Honorable Chotokpa. He was the chairman in 1999. And money goes directly to them. And that time, the community people, if you are a criminal, if you are somebody that is sleeping with somebody's wife, the community they can't come to vote for you to represent them. They have a way of punishing people who are representing them in the community. So once this is done, that is when we will see proper people managing the wealth of this nation on behalf of our local people. And the communities will elect chairmen that are responsible to the communities. They will elect councillors that are responsible to the communities. And we will see naturally development will go to our local communities outside even this minimum wage of 18. And this minimum wage, if local government is implementing it, state government is implementing it, at the end, you will see the proper development, and all of these problems that we are seeing today will vanish. So the problem that may arise from the new minimum wage thing is that if the states and the local governments will not work in line with the federal government,
they must work in line with the federal government because it's about the law.
But then, if the thing has to do with these wages is moved from the concurrent list now, it gets into the hands of the state governors to decide how they want. That is one thing again that Labour is fighting, that it must remain there, not move it to any other place, because whatever you do would affect the money that is being paid to people. Well, I believe what you have said, and that is what we want to achieve by talking about the impact, because let the impact be positive. We don't want to have negative impact on any tier of government, whether is the federal, state, or even the local governments.
The major problem we are having in Nigeria concerning this food increment, this inflation in the food inflation in the country, is not even as a result of this. What is the cause of this problem majorly is a tax that is increased, that has been increased. Tax, tax increment, and again, fuel subsidy. And that is why majority of Nigerians, including myself, the cabals, the people fighting Dangote for putting the refinery to use now is a major concern. Meaning, over the years, we have capacity as a nation to put our 4 refineries to use.
But some people
some cabals have refused to make it happen because they are benefiting from it. They are benefiting from it. So anything that will make Dangote refinery not to work, I think all of us have to join hands to fight that cabal. And I thank God that I thank President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for taking the bold step by bringing in the Minister State for Petroleum, that he should bring all the stakeholders together and make sure that they resolve that matter before they dent the image of this country. That's good. It's terrible.
That's good.
It's terrible.
It will also help, because when it happens, there are some other billionaires and trillionaires in this country who have the money to venture into some other subsectors of the oil, that they can't because of what they are seeing happening to Dangote of all persons. You know? So when it happens, if this one is settled, they'll be able to come in and make things work. I believe that there is enough money in this country to make this country better.
It's just political will,
yes,
and the wickedness of some citizens.
Some people that are referred to as this cabal thing.
That's the problem we are having.
I guess it's high time they were disappointed because and disgraced out of wherever they had placed themselves.
In the interest of Nigeria.
In the interest of our people. That's why Dangote was saying, if you think this is a problem, I will sell this to NNPC. But that's the problem, because no other person can buy it, even not NNPC.
Yes.
And if he sells it to NNPC, the cabals will still continue to be in charge and continue to do what they are doing, because it has been easy for them, because it has been only NNPC. Now that someone else has come with enough strength and muscle to achieve this great feat, they don't want. But thank God that we have a president that is able to stand his feet and say, get it done. Stamp his feet rather and say, let it happen. I believe that it will happen. As for this side, I know that our president has enough strength, enough will to make it happen.
Seriously, for what is happening between the executive and the legislature, I am so happy. If they continue like this in the next 8 years, Nigeria will change.
I also want to personally say thanks to the president for the fact that he did not let the labor union go on strike again.
Yes.
Because a lot of damage would have been done, even the more in this country. Now that we are sure that they'll be working, things will come again, because as you mentioned, people keep losing their lives incessantly these days, and not because of the fact that they are sick or any other thing, but because things are not working out well for them. We hope that things will begin to work out well for our people as this.
He is being proactive, I can see. He's proactive. Like Jigawa now, he has approved 150,000 naira to all small business owners in Jigawa State. 150,000.
That's great.
And he has announced that the planned protest, those who are behind it, they should shield their sword. That he mean well for them. So what is coming out of his mouth and the actions he has taken so far shows clearly that all of us will have to. It's just 1 year.
Yes.
1 year and some months. He has not even spent 2 years or 3 years. So the best thing for us to do is to be watching and see and assisting him in our own way, because he's just a president. All of us are citizens who have our role to play.
Yes. Thank you so much, my dear brother. Thank you so much, colleague and my guest for today, for coming to help me diffuse this great point that has been giving us problem. But before we go, I want to say something, the last thing. Gari is a product I have seen in this country. Right from the time I came into existence, I have been seeing Gari, and it's still the same quality that we have had it all the while. My question is, what is it that all these food processing institutions, what are they doing that they have not been able to look into that Gari and improve the dietary quality of Gari? It's a pity that it's been happening like this. For all these years, it's remained the same way. When there are certain inputs that are made to Gari, it will help. it will help to make, the people that are eating it to feel better.
The problem we are having in Nigeria is that in my school, one of my lecturers, Professor Awa Alam Awa, he's from India. He said in their country, people that go to school for PhD, they are doing that to help their country in terms of research.
Yes.
But it's in this area of the world that he has seen that people that went to school for PhD, they are doing that for promotion in the office.
Yes.
Not to help their country.
Nothing else.
Not to help their country. Or as a consultant that you just be answering the name doctor. Then they will give you consultancy job that you will not even be the one responsible in that consultancy job.
Yes.
You will still employ another person to do it.
That.
So we will even get honorary doctorate degree and be deceiving the country. That what we have, the problem we are facing in Nigeria is that while we are moving in circle, it's because our research institute, our research department is not giving much attention, like what you have said now. If we have good researchers in the agri sector to research into this gari of a tea, like of recent, somebody was telling me, why is it that the price of gari skyrocketed in this way? I said, majority now, what is happening generally, out of 10 Nigerians, 7 or 8 have a BP. Out of 10, 7 or 8 have BP. And now, if you have BP, some have even the serious sugar problem. Diabetes. And you don't go in eating food that have sugar, like semo, yam. The next food you go to is gari. And so gari have less sugar. Yes. So majority of Nigerians now should switch to that department to eating gari instead of all this food that have sugar.
And as a result,
the price went up. The demand decreased and price went up.
Okay.
So like what you said, if the research department of agri ministry can go into it, do more research and add more flavor to gari, so that we can improve on it. It will be very good for us as a nation.
Well, it's on that note that I want to say special thanks to you, Richard Oriri, for coming.
It's my pleasure, sir.
Please, you will come again.
Thanks for inviting me. I'm available any day, anytime, because I'm here to serve the country.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Well, dear viewer, this is also where we'll be concluding for today. It's been a very incisive session, and I believe that a whole lot of beautiful things must have happened. And I believe that your economic antenna must have been well positioned too, and for maximum profit. So do make out time again to stay with us and to do good business with us as we meet again on this particular platform, the economy today. Thank you so much, and I wish you the very best.